Ladies and gentlemen, the Cigar City Sports Podcast back at you. Week 3 for college football. I got my man Ryan here with me.
How's it going?
With me every week, man, all the time. What's up, Nello? How you doing?
¿Cómo estás?
Well, last week we had Mr. AB here as our guest picker and our guest on the show. Now we have the returning Mr. Camillo. What's up, man?
Hello.
We're happy to be back. We're happy to be here.
Ooh, do I want to talk to you?
College
Yeah.
football.
Let's go.
What a busy week we had. I don't know how we did in terms of pick totals, but let's go through those if we can.
Okay.
First things first, Florida State's still undefeated. I'm just throwing that out there.
Hey,
Alrighty. Great. I'm so glad
this
we
is
started
one of those
this.
things. If you live in the state of Florida, you know how it is when them FSU fans get on a streak. You know how it is.
We want Bama.
They
Got to go through Vandy first.
They do what, Beba. However,
No.
I got to say, last week we had the FSU show on the other side of the table, and they called a couple games. A couple of them, they were really right.
They were really right.
A couple of them, they were really wrong.
AB just seems to know when Kentucky's going to whoop that Gator ass.
I got to say, every time AB has been here and he's made a prediction, he's been correct. So who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't. But I think that game of the week, want to get right into it, that Bama-Texas game.
Oof.
By the way,
Rip the Band-Aid off.
I heard that is the most watched regular season football game in football history. College, pro, whatever. That game, Bama-Texas.
Wow.
Statistically, there were more viewers on that, not including playoffs, not including championships, regular season football. That one. Insane, right?
It was a great game, too.
College football, Pat McAfee joined the crew. A lot of hype. I mean, that was a hell of a game unless you were an Alabama fan, in which case that was a heart palpitations, a what the hell is going on here type of game, because they were 21-point favorites.
A lot of broken TVs, I'm sure.
Yeah. All I got to say is, you got to get up on the mic for me, is that Bama's offense did not look like Bama's offense. And I've been saying this all year so far, 2 games, big whoop. But there are no wide receivers to speak of in Alabama right now.
You think the offensive line is part of the problem, too?
No, I don't think so, because the problem is normally we do have a great offensive line. You're absolutely right. But I don't know what you're pointing at.
Right there.
What?
That's what caused Bama to
Do you want to say it out loud for
I
the
thought,
friends at
you're-
home? or?
You're the Bama guy. I was just letting you say it. You guys look like sloppy shit on Saturday.
Okay.
And that's the truth. Stupid penalties all day. 15 penalties for 100 yards. That is not Bama football.
It was over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Well over. That was a lot of penalties and a lot of holding, a lot of crap, for sure. I mean, the amount of penalties that happened in that game, and the first thing I saw when we won is that the refs let Bama win. What?
Oh, of course.
What? I mean, first of all, Bryce Young is the best player in college football. Do we have an argument there?
No, I don't think we should. But
I mean,
I hate that comparison, though. You can't compare a QB to a linebacker, et cetera. So
Sure.
You want to say he's the best QB in college football?
First
I'd say he's the top 5.
first of all, top 5. You're not even. Who are you? You name me 3 that are better than him right now.
AR-15, bro.
Oh, come on.
now you're just poking the bear.
I am. I'm trolling the hell out
But what
of
I'm
them
saying
Gators.
is, but like, you want to talk best players? I'd say Will Anderson is
Will
one of the best
Anderson?
players in
I was
college
gonna
football.
say that too.
However, he was sloppy. 3 offsides calls. He had a late hit on somebody. It ain't pro. Guy caught the ball, rolled on the ground, and Will just ran up and hit him.
Stupid.
And everybody watching is like, what are you doing? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if we
Frustration?
have some young guys that are frustrated and not used to that big spotlight, but Bryce and Will shouldn't be those guys.
Yeah, they should be the trendsetters for the team, for sure.
They really should. And it doesn't make any sense to me that, well, first of all, that was a huge game. I don't care. People could say non-conference Texas, they're unranked, blah, 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 blah. They just got Sark. Their recruiting classes the last couple of years have been insane. They are trending upwards. In Arlington, are we going to say that it's just an easy place to walk in and win a football game on prime time?
Not at 12 o'clock in the afternoon with that goddamn heat.
And 115-degree heat on the field?
Hell no. I got to give those boys props on both sides. They didn't drop dead. And apparently the air conditioning in the Bama locker room didn't work. They had to bring their own fucking air conditioning.
So that is a tactic by a lot of teams, and apparently Bama was prepared for it. So as soon as they walked in, like, oh, no AC, that's fine. We brought our own. So they brought their own portable AC and generators to plug in.
That sounds like a Belichick move right there.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
So about the game, Ewers went down with a bad injury. He's
Now,
going to be out 5 weeks.
I want to
that.
say that's a very bad injury, but I don't feel it was a dirty play.
No, it wasn't a dirty play. It was a bang bang play. If Ewers is in the game, do you think Texas pulls off the upset?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because that guy's deep ball is elite. It's insane. Watching him throw the ball, I was like, I get it. Texas definitely wins that game if Ewers plays 4 quarters because he was so efficient and they were rallying around him. But I got to say, there are some grown men on that other side of the ball, and you get knocked up, Same thing happened to Card, who came in for him.
Yeah, he played injured too in the second half.
Yeah.
And he didn't look that bad.
No, he looked great. But apparently he started a couple games for Texas already, so he's been their starter before.
I think the most great thing is that they stopped that running back from Texas from getting into the game.
Bijan Robinson.
You know what I mean? And that was big because he had 21 carries and he had like 50 some odd yards. So that was important for your front seven to stop him.
But
and
he
you guys
was
did.
He was catching a lot of balls though.
Yeah, he
and
was.
killing them.
And they have a little speedster on their team. I forget his name. But
I
they
don't
were
know.
comparing him to Hollywood Brown. They were saying that he's really, really fast, really, really small. And he was, when Ewers was in the game, he was burning us.
Yeah.
And
Ewers has a good touch on the ball too, not just deep ball, but he can place it.
He
in
does.
Traffic.
He does.
So it was sad to see him leave the game, especially as well as he played. But to see him, now possibly going to be out for a good part of the season.
If not the entire season.
Yeah.
I hate that. I don't care if it's Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. I don't want to see somebody on the field go down for extended periods of time. It's not good for the game. It's not good for them. Yeah. Fuck your loyalty to whatever team you have. You don't want to see somebody go out there and get hurt.
No, I was gonna say, as long as they're wearing a blue and orange uniform, I don't really care.
Wow, this guy right here. Jeez.
Yeah,
I was going to take the high road on that one, but now I'm not.
No, man, it's not.
You keep poking the bear. He going to blow up.
No, in all seriousness, I hate to see people get hurt too.
For sure.
I mean,
I don't care how good they are,
especially in college, because that's some of those kids' futures too. You know what I mean? Like they could lose
especially
a lot of money.
him.
Yeah,
I didn't know this, but Ewers was the highest ever rated quarterback coming out of high school.
He was.
Wow.
Like, I mean, that kid could throw a football through a car wash and not get it wet.
The only reason why he didn't stay at Ohio State was because he had a guy in C.J. Stroud that's in front of him.
yeah,
Right. And he wasn't getting the snaps he wanted. And Texas is like, bro, you are our starter. You don't even transfer. You're our starter now in Ohio State.
So next year, Arch comes in. Does Arch take that redshirt year and Ewers gets another chance, or is Arch dethroning Quentin Ewers his first year?
because yours is winning football games, and Arch. If it wasn't for his last name being Manning, like they said, he wouldn't be anywhere near where he is at.
That's the word that comes to mind when you guys keep bringing up Arch Manning. Overrated.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sure he's good. But the fact that Uncle Peyton and Uncle Eli are around make him a very desirable pick to come to your school, because then they think they're going to get them to show up on campus or wherever, and people are going to flock to that Manning name. He's a good quarterback, but I take Ewers 10 times out of 10 over him. He's got size. He's got the arm. He's got everything.
Yeah, they were saying if he
And
was
poise.
if he was anybody else, he'd probably be a 3-star quarterback at best.
That's a lot of people saying that too. That if Manning comes out without that name, if his last name is Jones or whatever, he is not going to get all the attention he got.
So you're saying he's not like one of the Mannings. He's more like David Carr.
Kind of.
Hey, David Carr's a beast, though.
Yeah, he is. David Carr is a beast. Not as much as his brother, but he's pretty good.
David Carr was the guy who drafted by Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
He was
sir.
on his bum his whole life.
His whole career.
Yeah, like Houston never.
He went
protected
to
him.
an expansion team as a first-round pick. He was doomed to fail.
Yeah, he was.
Well, and the team put he was on his back so much, the team put his last name on the front of his jersey.
Yeah.
So
He did have a good receiver in Andre Johnson.
he
though.
did.
One of the greatest of all time.
Now back to the college game. So Texas showed they deserve to be in the SEC, right?
Big time.
Any agreement? Any
Unquestioned.
Big time.
disagreements?
So that was them.
Maybe.
19-21 against the number 2,
Okay,
number 1
here's-
team.
Here's
in
the
the
interesting
nation.
thing. Go ahead.
It's a coin flip. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody doesn't show up sometimes.
And Bama does not
You
traditionally
give me that
show up
look.
in non-conference road games.
How many times has Bama stomped somebody's dick in the ground?
Yeah.
Have a bad day once? I
So-
can't remember. I honestly can't remember last time when y'all score 17 points.
But here's one of the things. We scored 19
Or
or 20 to
19.
19. 20 to 19.
Yeah,
That's how it went.
so
It was 17-19 going into that final drive before Bryce Young took over. Without Bryce Young, Bama loses that game. You right or wrong?
that's right.
I think Ty Simpson is good. Is he Bryce Young good? No. I agree with you. I
Right?
agree with you.
Yeah, on that final drive, he was scrambling. He was trying to pick up first rounds. He was making right decisions. Minus Bryce Young, Bama loses. I'm sorry.
Well, here's what I was going to say to the is Texas ready for the SEC question. I think not only was Sark trying to put up a good play for Saban because he's played for Saban for 3 years now, and he came out and said, that's what I want to do is I want to make sure that my team puts up a good show for Nick Saban. His words.
yeah.
I want to make sure my team shows up for Nick Saban. And that's a message to every SEC team that is not Alabama. If you come here, we are going to eat you alive. They were trying to prove they belong. They were trying to send a message and trying to send a message to number one. And as far as I'm concerned, message received.
Agreed.
Yeah, if you can go toe-to-toe with the biggest names in SEC, then you're
That
sending a message to the rest of the SEC that we're here and we're here to stay. So
Yeah, especially
they
with
did that.
guys like Ewers, guys like Manning, even though he may not get the hype. But if you're getting these top recruits, and I've been saying this for a while now, Texas has not gotten the best of Texas recruits because of Texas A&M, because of LSU, because there are some elite athletes coming
Oklahoma.
out of Texas. And they don't want to go to Texas because Texas is in the Big 12. They're not playing big games when it counts.
And they've had a couple.
And they're not
down
even
years,
winning
too.
in the Big 12, though. So that's the
Yeah.
thing.
You're
They
getting
weren't
you're
winning.
getting the Red River rivalry, and that's it. And so now you're playing marquee games every week. Not every week. That's not how college works. But you're playing better teams, better conferences. And now these boys from Texas that are excellent athletes are going to say, oh, now I get to go to UT and play those big games at home. Texas is going to steal a lot of recruits from Louisiana, from Texas A&M, maybe even from, Florida and Mizzou, the guys that we normally get to come out of Texas. Now they're not going to want to.
They're going
And-
to take a lot of that Southwest now that they go to the SEC, but they're still going to have to fight with Oklahoma.
For sure.
Oklahoma's not going anywhere. They're going to the SEC
Oklahoma's
too.
got their own kids.
Yeah, that's
and Bama's
true.
still going to be Bama. So, I mean, if they're still winning championships, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to go to school, whatever, over here, especially with them opening it up to
FSU?
12. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you? Is this a precursor to maybe Bama having a down year this year? Like, is there anything you took out of this game, the Texas game, that you're like, I'm a little worried, or we're going to tighten up and it's going to be fine?
Honestly, Saban is the second half master. He's good at adjustments. Do I think we're going to spot a team like Texas again? No. I think you're going to see with this game coming up this week, Bama is going to be a fine-tuned machine.
And that's not saying much.
And they are going to be looking at Georgia. That's who they're looking at. They're actually, no, I take that back. They'll be looking at Auburn and Georgia. I mean, this is going to be one of those years where I think we are putting people's dick in the dirt. But every year I think that we have a trap game. And this is really early. I think Tennessee could be scary with the way they've been able to
do
perform
you
and
guys
stay
go to
in. But
Tennessee, or do they come to Bama?
I think we went to Tennessee last year, so I think they're coming to us. But I'll look.
Is there anything you guys saw opposite of like the Florida boys over here that you saw in that game that you're like, interesting, maybe we can exploit it?
Well,
Mr. SEC over here.
to see Texas play the way they did, especially this early in the season, is either these boys aren't prepared, which is not atypical of a Saban team,
Sure.
or like someone said last year, I forget who said it, but that Saban and Alabama was in a rebuilding year last year, right? Maybe they're still in that rebuilding year this year too.
Yeah, that could be very possible.
Yeah.
That could be very possible.
And for me, you know what they say, even a blind
We
squirrel
are
will find
in
a
we are
nut.
in Rocky Top this year.
So
Oh wow.
one close game to me doesn't make them world beaters by any means. You know what I mean? They just had a better game that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing in the Texas heat. than anybody
FSU
else.
goes to Texas and they play that game. Do you think FSU beats Texas at home? I mean, they won't play this year. Just hypothetical scenario. Does FSU beat Texas this year in Texas?
Probably not.
At least you're honest.
Bro, we're barely beating teams that we should be beating.
You guys got a big test this week in Louisville, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we knocked off LSU, big whoop. But
did you see Brian Kelly gave the press the reporters at the press conference $10 because he was late to his own press conference this week?
Why would he do that?
I gotta find out who that female reporter was that gave it back to him. That was my favorite response of all time. He's like, "Oh, you guys got somewhere better to be or something like that," because they showed up late, and this female reporter does not miss half a second and goes, "Yeah, maybe if you win, we'll be on time." And Brian Kelly just goes, "Next question." He just moved on because what you gonna say? And I know nothing's gonna happen to that reporter. She'll be in that press conference next week, baby.
Yep.
So looking at the rest of the schedule last week, Georgia, Stanford took care of business. Ohio State took care of business. Michigan took care of business. Clemson and Furman. Then came Texas A&M, Appalachian State.
That's absolutely right.
And you assholes across from me all called me crazy when I took App State.
I'd like you to listen back and probably just hear 3. Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Not, oh, you dumb motherfucker, because you like to embellish, because you're you.
All I'm saying is, App State went to College Station.
They did.
Took the win, slapped them around,
Yes, they
and
did.
went home.
In Kyle Field. Now, this is just, that's the thing, and you got this screwed up, too, because you said they were App State.
No,
but that's
look,
all right.
versus.
Okay, so typically when you're looking at a schedule, the versus is whose house you're going to, right?
Right.
That's what I thought.
So I was watching soccer, and it's the other way around. But that's okay. We're not going to go there. We're not doing that.
Great.
All I'm saying,
all
App
I
State
know
won.
is in Kyle Field, I text, first of all, I text every Michigan fan I knew. It was like, you having nightmares right now? You having a little PTSD? Looking at App State being a top 10 buster. Damn. And it's when they come to you.
Right, because they beat Michigan, and they were number 5, and they beat Texas A&M, and they were number 6.
Texas A&M, I think, is now ranked 24.
24 or 25, something like that.
They don't deserve to be in the top 25.
No, not after that performance.
First of all, App State, no disrespect whatsoever. I think you have an awesome program. I love App State. Maybe they'll start getting some more boosters in there and start getting a little bit bigger money, bigger recruits. I hope you do. But Kyle Field, Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, last year you beat Bama, and you were so happy to celebrate that to the entire world. They were like, we beat Bama. We're the new SEC power. Texas A&M, baby. And then App State comes in, and they put their balls on your forehead and asked you to do something about it, and you didn't.
Do you think App State used that stupid midnight interview crap, that video that I posted as bulletin board material?
Little behind the scenes. Nello sent us a 20-minute video of the prep rally of the midnight shout for Texas A&M. Ryan,
I didn't even open it. I'm gonna keep it a bucket, bro. I didn't even open it.
I just looked at it. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I checked on it. I saw 20 minutes. Nope.
No, but it was just it's not even funny though. It wasn't
Just
even
tell us.
funny.
Did you watch all 20 minutes?
No, I watched the first 5 or 6 minutes, and it was just them just dissing on them being like from Appalachian State isn't even a state, and they're like rednecks and they can't read and all that shit.
I'm sure if you watched every single Texas A&M midnight shout, you'd see a lot of the same. I mean, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever seen those videos?
Trash talk.
Have you ever seen those videos of girls saying like, "Oh, I'm going to such and such school"? It's
Yeah.
always like Oklahoma,
Yes,
Texas,
yes,
and
yes,
they can
yes.
never pronounce it properly. And they're making fun of App State. Like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
they
get
say it so fast because typically they're drunk. They're like, "My name's Massey. I'm going to Texas A&M." Woo!
Mama Shiner.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
All I know is the midnight yell meant nothing to me, and it certainly holds no clout now. I was circling this game because I want Bama to absolutely embarrass. And Will Anderson has already said, Texas A&M, every single person in our locker room has your game circled. We want to kill you. And now I'm not so, I mean, like, yeah, sure, you already had that fuel to the fire, but they've lost all clout whatsoever.
the
They're
next
still
But I
gonna
mean,
play
it
you
wasn't
tough,
like they
though.
were undefeated last season, even when they beat you guys, were they?
Sure. No, they weren't, but
Exactly.
they beat who they needed to beat.
Yeah.
You got to beat the easy
Now,
teams.
see, here's the
but
thing, though.
How big are the nuts on everybody in App State right now? You know,
They've
big.
got wheelbarrows to walk around like in South Park. Buffalo Soldier.
I mean, if you think about it, they should have beat North Carolina. They should be 2-0. That was a great game too.
They really should have been 2-0, but
They didn't have more points than the other team. That's just
right.
that thing. It's crazy how sports work.
The next game was Oklahoma, Kent State. Everybody took Oklahoma last week. We won. The next game, number 8,
all of us
Notre
lost.
Dame
All of us lost.
versus
actually-
Marshall.
Almost went with Marshall just because Notre Dame didn't look great, but I was like, fuck it. There's
And
no way
Notre Dame
Dame's
hung
losing
in
to
there with
Marshall.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
They hung in there with Ohio State, and then they dropped to Marshall. And it wasn't like a close game. Marshall went out and took a commanding lead and held it.
I thought they came back. I'm not sure how close it was, but I think Stephon Gilmore's brother caught it, or a cousin or something, went back for an INT touchdown.
I don't care if his
Did Randy
his
Moss suit
childhood
up and like
priest suit up. They took care of business.
go play undercover?
I mean, it's the first time in a long time that the starting head coach at Notre Dame has lost 3 games in a row.
Right. His
I
season
can't stand
finale was done. Me neither.
I
Me
can't
neither.
stand them. Every time they lose, I celebrate.
This
And
is
I don't
this,
even have a dog in the fight.
no way.
I agree. I agree.
I feel the same way. Notre Dame trying to be this independent nonsense. Get out of here, man. I'm done with you.
The fact that they're always ranked so high,
Yeah.
and they year after year prove that they don't belong to be ranked that high,
Yeah.
and lose to easy teams, or even when they do play competitive, they get destroyed.
Yeah.
So why are they taking up this spot that's automatically gifted to them when they go into the playoffs and things like that? Because people like them more.
Money.
Come on.
I want to
Money
know
is
why
why they're ranked where
their AD is on the college football playoff commission when they're an independent.
Seriously.
That's all I want to know.
They need to join a conference or go down a division.
A lot of rumors
let,
saying
let
Big
the
Ten.
independents just form your own conference.
Yeah. And
If you're
y'all just
independent,
play
you're in
each
the
other.
independent conference,
Y'all just play
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
A lot
But
of
I'm
rumors
sorry.
saying Big Ten.
But the Big Four, those are the ones who are going to get that. I would rather take a 2-loss Big Four conference team than Notre Dame.
Yes.
I would rather take a 2-loss Oregon
100%.
than Notre Dame.
100%.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
12, I 100% agree with that.
Give it to me. I would rather
I know
take
about
a
that.
2-loss Vanderbilt than Notre Dame. Give me any of those teams.
He's right, because who does Notre Dame play? 1 or 2 good teams a year, if that.
And they
Come on.
lose.
You beat the Adolf Hitler School for Tolerance by 3 points. Congratulations,
Jesus
Notre
Christ,
Dame.
this motherfucker said Adolf Hitler.
No, but it's true, man. And this is so just telling of that entire program.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a 2-loss Bishop Sycamore over Notre Dame.
Let's go.
Bro, we should create our own college team. Like, think about it.
It's going to be the Gophers.
They paid App State
100%.
I don't
and
care. It's
Marshall
the Gophers.
$1.25 million each to go to the stadiums and get whooped.
That's so funny, man. I love that when they pay these small schools millions to show up for a tune-up game, and you get whooped, and then they go, "Is that check in the mail?"
Thank you.
Do I get one of those big golf
Give me
ones?
one of the
or like-
giant checks.
If I was
absolutely.
Marshall, I'd be like, nah, straight cash, homie.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
You know what? We're going to take a wire transfer, and you know what? We'll eat that wire fee. Don't worry about it.
The next
Straight
game was
cash.
really good.
This was my favorite one, man.
Baylor, BYU in Provo. Provo was rocking that night, man.
They were.
rocking. Those defenses were flying. I love BYU, man. I love
BYU
them. I love them.
is looking right now like a 4 seed who's going to lose to whoever the good school is on the opposite side of them.
I don't believe in BYU.
Tell me I'm
sorry.
wrong.
Yeah,
BYU looks like
they're.
they're going to be that 4 seed that they're like, BYU, we finally belong, baby. And they're going to go to see Georgia, and Georgia's going to hand them their ass.
It's
and
gonna send them
BYU's
home
be
packing
like,
with their magic
man,
underwear."
if Jimmy Stiltskin wasn't having a tweaked ankle, we'd have beat him.
Exactly. That's why I don't know why they're opening this thing up to 12, man.
Money, we talked about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, they
but
beat a
still.
top 10 team last week in Baylor.
Yeah, that's cool. You beat a top
Great.
10 team. Lots of those teams.
A
beat
top 10 team
10 teams.
named
Baylor,
Baylor.
who was 6th ranked last year.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. When was the
Missed the
last
playoff by
time
one
Baylor
game.
was in the college football playoffs?
Well, technically,
Or
if they go to
championship?
12, they would have been in it last year.
Yeah, we're not talking about technically if they were in it. When was the last time you heard of Baylor?
I mean, it's really hard to get into when
RG3.
when you have
Exactly.
two
I'll answer
Notre
that
Dame
question.
teams.
Are automatically
And Notre
gifted a
Dame
spot.
automatically gets in if they have one loss.
I'm just saying, man.
He's right, by the way.
What?
He's right about Notre Dame. So
terrible.
overrated.
They're
Yeah,
gifted
they're
a
terrible.
spot. Just as long as they don't lose 2 games,
Yeah.
they're in it. Yeah.
No,
And
they're
it's
done
ridiculous.
now. Now they lost 2 games. Yeah, Baylor. But see, the problem with BYU is they are so physical on defense that towards the tail end of the year, they're just too beat the fuck up.
Or maybe they just start playing better teams. Who knows?
USC put the boot stamps to Stanford.
Yep. Lincoln Riley, he's going to play somebody eventually and get stomped.
I love Mike Gundy, and he did his thing against Arizona State. The big game that this guy, the Florida State boys, called is Florida. Kentucky.
Yeah, me and Nello, we had Florida.
We had Florida all the way.
I thought that the swamp was going to be too much, but Kentucky, I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game, but it looked troublesome.
As I like to start every conversation about talking about Florida's, fuck them boys. Yeah, bro, y'all look like shit.
No, they did not.
They look like shit.
They did not look like shit.
They look like
They
shit.
they played a underrated Kentucky team. Kentucky now for what, 4 or 5 years?
Kentucky for the last 5-6 years has been a pretty
They
tough
really
team in the
have.
SEC.
They really have.
And they've
Since
gone
Stoops has
toe-to-toe
been
with
there.
big names.
Since Stoops has been there.
So, I mean, big kudos to Kentucky. All things considered, y'all should have beat their ass in the swamp. I mean, I'm telling you, when I'm thinking of places that are tough to win football games, the swamp is way up there.
Yeah, like I'm not even gonna lie. You said it was in Kentucky, so I was like, oh yeah,
I made a mistake.
Maybe at home, I'll take Kentucky over the Gators. You would have told me that it was in the swamp. I might have been like, yeah, nah, that ain't happening, bro.
Yeah.
Because even some
I
of the
felt the
best
same
teams,
thing.
like Florida State teams going in there, we've lost.
I actually had
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
friend,
You
Glenn,
can't say
who's in our
best
league.
teams in Florida State in the same sentence.
Whoa,
Ouch.
bro.
I mean,
they're 2-0 right now.
wrong.
They're
who
2-0
did you
right
play?
now.
You play Brian Kelly's LSU. Oof, dangerous.
I mean, hey,
And Duquesne,
Hey,
don't
man,
forget.
you lost
Duquesne.
to Kentucky.
That nobody except for people who go to that school know how to pronounce.
That's also true.
hey, listen, LSU, Death Valley, it doesn't matter how bad they are. That's a tough place to win a
It
football
wasn't
game.
in Death
they
Valley.
had a
though. It
coach
was
who
in
barely
it was in
spoke
the
English.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is
I
still a
know.
home game.
I know.
Ed Orgeron was the guy that was in The Water Boy.
Go Tigers.
Yo, that
That's
story
Ed Orgeron.
of them, as soon as they said you're getting $17 million and you're fired, and he's like, what door do you want me to get out of?
Yeah.
Is the most amazing way to just leave.
Because there's nobody in this room that would say anything different.
Are
No.
you kidding me? $17 million?
We're giving you 17 million and we're firing you. Okay, I'm fired. 17 million? Where?
We're gonna pack my
Is
shit
that,
up.
is that a check
Yeah.
or direct deposit?
I'm
How's that
calling
work?
my accountant while they're talking to me. Hold on, guys. How much am I paying on this in taxes?
I
don't care. We're cool.
Might have been a
We're
little
cool.
upset that y'all even called me in here. Y'all knew I was fired at home. Y'all could have just called me and told me I was making 17
Hey,
million.
17
I'd have
million.
been
Make me
cool.
waste the gas to get down here.
Hey man, fuck everything in my
Man, I-
desk, bro.
I had to drive this Mercedes that the alumni
But
paid off for me.
let's break down this game though. That's
Yeah.
what I want to
Yeah.
hear because I watched a little bit of it, and here's the thing about that kid AR-15, man. I think in terms of arm talent, he is up there with any quarterback in college football. That dude, if he is focused, can make any throw you want.
To the other team for 6.
I think that big situations fluster him. I think the entire team and that entire stadium being on his shoulders might be too much for him to be able to handle.
I don't think you're necessarily wrong about that. The problem with him, too, though, is he hasn't had a lot of experience and exposure. I mean, last year, look at what Mullins did to him.
Yeah.
Kept sidelining him. And that fool had the nerve this year to say that AR-15 is a dark horse for the Heisman. You mean the guy you refused to start?
Right.
Now you're telling the nation that he's a dark horse for the Heisman?
Well, you know-
so he's got the talent, but the problem is he does kind of tend to fold under pressure a little bit.
I can get why he would say that because when you are the head ball coach, you have to play politics and you have to go with the upperclassmen and look at those guys that are, they've been leaders, they've been on the team and everybody knows them, like Emory Jones, even though it's
he brought in
clear as-
Emory Jones.
It's clear as
awful.
day that AR-15 is the better quarterback.
Light years ahead of
Yeah,
Emory
but you
Jones.
can't say that in the second half, AR's 15 did anything to you to make you feel like this guy is my quarterback.
No, but the first half, he played a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Our
And you guys
defense
let a
was
guy who
stout
drinks
the entire
mayonnaise
game.
and coffee beat you.
Well, it's not like he was the only guy playing, but, I mean,
And
Kentucky's a hell of a team.
and
They're
listen,
well
we
prepared.
can't ignore Kentucky. That wasn't a walk-away game. You guys didn't play FAU.
Right. I mean, if we were playing Vandy and we lost, yeah, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah.
But we lost to Kentucky. They're a hell
ranked
of a team.
good team.
Yeah, and in the last 5 years, I mean, I would put Kentucky over your team any day, and especially your team.
I mean, no.
Would you put them above LSU?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you
Kentucky,
I think
right
they
now,
beat LSU.
You
they
just talking-
absolutely will beat LSU right now.
I mean, they are a very good team, clearly. and they are on the come up since Stoops showed up. But at the end of the day, so what happens? Let's get to this after the break. Before we get into next week, I want to hear when we get back from break where the Gators are going from this loss. All right,
another loss next week. Fuck.
Shut up,
USF.
Another loss against USF.
So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to get into the Gators and then our picks for next week. We'll see you in just a minute. And we're back talking about a little UF football. I got to get my boy Ryan a barf bag.
Why? Let's get this thing.
Why this guy?
Because at the end of the year, they're going to be in the conversation, and FSU might not be.
Nah, we're already undefeated, bro. They've already taken a loss.
Dude, it's so typical, and I love it. I'm so here for it.
I can't deal with
But
this.
by the way,
I'm
before we
gonna
get
run
on this, I want this on the air. I've got a lot of mini helmets. Where's my FSU and my Gator helmet, boys? Where are they?
True.
Well,
Where
I
are
understand
they?
why the Gator isn't there. That's an SEC rival. FSU,
I have 3 Bama helmets.
You don't shop in the
One
clearance section.
Gator One Gator helmet ain't gonna bother me. Let's do it. All right, so where do the Gators go from here? Let's pull up their schedule.
So I'll tell you, Napier is trying to establish himself as a presence in the SEC.
I like him. I like
and I
Napier.
do like him a lot. And I liked him a lot better, or I like him a lot better than I liked Mullins. So,
Yeah, I think his attitude and the way he approaches the team is miles ahead of where Mullen was.
The team has absolutely rallied around him as a coach. And the week one, the way they played against Utah, that was a very different Gators team than what showed up to play against Kentucky.
So here's the difference, I think, is because when that team, the Billy Napier team, showed up for that Utah game, if it was a Mullins team, they would have crumbled and shit would have gone south. You guys faced adversity with Napier. He stayed calm. The team stayed calm. Y'all got the win.
Yeah, I think Napier's going to definitely take us a lot
I
further.
keep calling him Napier. I don't know why.
But
Napier.
I'll tell you, one of the things, though, is that, and you've mentioned this before, anytime a new coach comes into college, it's going to be 4 years before you really see
Any other boys?
that team for that coach.
Yeah.
So right now, but Florida has an advantage over most schools. We're a premier SEC school.
For sure.
Whoa,
And
whoa.
people will-
There is
wow.
no argument.
Premier,
There's no
calm
argument to
yourself.
be had. That's like you saying that Penn State
Is a premier Big Ten school. That's
Exactly.
exactly fucking right.
That's a joke.
Once we beat your goddamn Auburn in the SEC this week, then we'll see what's up. In Auburn, by the way.
We will see what is up.
Yeah, we will definitely see Saturday.
So we did this with AB last week. I'm going to go through the rest of your schedule. You're
Yeah.
going to give me win-loss.
Okay.
Ready? South Florida in Gainesville.
Easy.
Oh, come on. Are you
Easy.
kidding me? We are going to absolutely pack their shit in.
That's
For
the
sure.
same thing about Kentucky.
Yeah, but taking USF and Kentucky, one
They
of
ain't the
these
same.
things is not like the other.
Florida, Tennessee in Tennessee.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough game. I don't know. I still think that Florida can eke it out, but let's see how we do next week. I probably could give you a better answer.
I think if you guys get up early on Tennessee, you win. But if you allow them to stay in the game, you lose.
Right now, W or
They
L?
take a
Our
loss.
defense will hang with any team out there, no question. The problem is can our offense get rolling? That is what really is going to be the
Okay?
issue.
Win-loss.
That's a loss.
I don't know. Yeah, that very well could be a loss because this is not. I don't think this is a.
That's not an unfair assessment.
That's not an unfair criticism at all. Actually, that's quite unbiased. I thought you were going to say W. Eastern Washington versus
That's a win.
Florida.
That's a win. Move on.
Missouri at Florida.
That's a win.
Yeah,
Move
that's a
on.
win.
LSU
Man, y'all giving these
at
bums
Florida.
too much credit.
LSU is they're speaking of bums, yeah. So we're gonna absolutely
They take a
pack
loss to
their shit
LSU.
into.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Not
No.
in Ben Hill
I
Griffin.
got a crispy dollar that
You
says
want to
they
say
take a
that
loss.
just because
Oh
you
my
guys beat
goodness.
LSU.
Wait, what?
Wait, is that
I got
going to
a-
be our first dollar?
I got a crispy dollar that
Okay,
says
I'm on it.
LSU beat
I want it.
Florida.
I want it.
That's a
I
bet.
want it.
Yeah,
I am
I
so
want that
in on
bet.
this. And I want you to autograph it for me too.
Oh,
good.
Because I'm gonna frame it.
That's right. You autograph it
You
for
can't
him.
frame
we'll
it.
put
It goes
on
in the table. It
All
goes
right,
in
It goes
the
on the
That's fair,
table.
that's fair.
It'll
Well,
be here
I'm gonna
forever.
sign
It'll
it.
be framed.
Fuck
We'll
them
put it on the
boys.
Please do.
So that's 3 wins
Oh,
so
God,
far.
I love that.
Florida in Augusta.
Yeah.
That is no. I'm sorry. That's gonna be a tough game.
That's
a loss.
no. And Florida is not in Augusta
We're not ready
or
for that
Athens.
yet.
That's a neutral site game every year.
Oh,
not
that's
ready
right.
for that.
Jacksonville.
That's
The
Jacksonville.
cocktail party. My bad.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Georgia's elite right now
Florida, Texas A&M in Texas A&M.
in Kyle Field.
Texas A&M. Well, they're not the Texas A&M of last season. I think at that point in the season we're gonna win that.
Man,
So
you
that's
think you can
4.
beat App State? Man, y'all crazy.
App
That's a
State.
loss.
I mean Texas A&M.
Well, Keezy's saying
Oh,
because App State beat Texas A&M.
I'm sorry, I missed
I'm
it.
just talking shit.
I love it. I love it.
South Carolina in the swamp.
Oh, we're killing them.
5.
Rattler can't hang.
Yeah.
Florida at Vanderbilt. That's 6.
Oh, come on. That's not even a
That's
real
a win.
team in the SEC.
Here we go. The game of the Florida rivalry. Florida
Obviously,
State,
both Florida State
and
boys
Doak.
picked Florida State. So we got the Gator here, who's
I'm
going to
sorry,
pick the
but-
Gators.
But
You got it.
we're a real football team, so I'm going to say that we're going to absolutely win that game.
You think they own Doak Stadium right now?
7 wins.
Of course.
Hey, how'd that turn out last year?
7 wins.
Did they win?
We lost, but we're not losing again this time.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, did you have some new information that
I'm
we
like,
aren't aware of?
Right. Did I slip into a different dimension
Did you Thanos snap and change the result?
with Mullen?
It's
With
gonna be
Mullen,
the
we won.
be the battle of the hand gestures that roll the eyes of all the rest of college football. Because when you guys start doing the chomp, everybody else is like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And when the Knowles are the worst when it comes
When
to
they
that,
start fucking
because they do
winning.
that and then they start doing the chant, and you're like, "Why was I born on this planet?"
It's really obnoxious.
So
And
you
the
go-
chant is even worse.
7-3 in 10 games. That's not a bad record. I thought you might have
that's
gone
what I was
more than
thinking
that.
is-
That was
is we're
actually
gonna
pretty
probably
clean.
be somewhere around 7 to 8 wins at the end of this season. But this is
You guys aren't
Napier's
competing
first
for a
run.
championship.
I don't think so. Not this year, and I don't think so next year either. But I think after that, if Napier keeps playing these boys the way that they've been playing, and we maintain some consistency and get a few more key pickups,
Yeah.
which his first few days as the head coach of the Gators, he swung some pretty top recruits to us. So if he can do that again next year and one more year, no question, we're in the Final Four.
That's a tall order because you got two guys at the top that you're going to have to beat, and in 2 years you'll also be competing with Oklahoma and Texas.
Right.
So that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. The SEC is about to be the biggest conference in all of college football.
It's already the best. So
It is. It is statistically. It is.
it absolutely is. More NFL players come out of the SEC than any other conference.
More
It's not even
championships.
close.
More championships come out of the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see FSU come to the SEC.
We
No,
tried
they're
years
scared.
ago.
They-
and they
They'll
told
have to
us
lose
no.
too many games.
Well, they don't want shit teams to go to the SEC. That's
All right,
why.
so let's go over these last two games that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, the
There's
only-
really not much going
No,
on.
The upset, Wisconsin got upset by Washington State. And
Hey,
then Pittsburgh,
shout out Uncle
Tennessee.
Lance, big Washington State fan. He always gives me the go Cougs. He always loves the Washington State Cougs, and I was like, man, I hope they do good just for him. But I was like, Wisconsin's too good. No, sir.
Wisconsin's another one of those Notre Dame overrated teams every year.
Wisconsin
year in and year
is
out.
the team that is one-dimensional. If you stop the run,
run.
you win.
Yep.
Period.
But that quarterback was one of the first guys to sign an NIL deal, making his own brand and all that. crap.
that's a testament to
Well,
Wisconsin.
because
not to-
Wisconsin only has one college.
yeah, exactly.
Well, no one cares about him either way.
So, and then we had Houston, Texas Tech.
Houston, Texas Tech pulls out an upset. I didn't even know. This guy right here took him out, swung for the fences and hit it. I thought Pittsburgh, Tennessee was a great game. Tennessee, I think Tennessee can make noise in the SEC.
I do too. I think I've been saying it about Tennessee for the last couple of years that they're really coming on. They're starting to figure it out. I don't think they're elite, but I think they are on that fringe that Kentucky's on right now.
I think Josh Heupel
And
did
the same one that Arkansas is on. Those teams are starting to get the recruits. They're starting to gel. They're starting to play like a team. And the big thing is their head coaches. Their head coaches have come in and changed that entire dynamic in the locker room, especially Arkansas. And you're starting to see that come through on the field. Now, I see
quarterback
that
for
same.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I see the same thing for Napier. And if he can get it together in a couple years, you might see that resurgence of Florida.
Oh my God!
You'll know what Florida team you're going to be facing in a couple years based on how this season ends. So he's still dealing and will be dealing with Mullen's guys.
I'm telling you right
even
now.
though we do get
Yeah.
a top talent, now people are going to come here because of him. People have already started to come here because
For
of
sure.
him.
You guys get 7 or 8 wins, like you said. People are going to come back to Florida.
Of
Yeah,
course.
agreed.
And once Florida players start
you
to
guys
see that, hey,
facility alone.
Yeah.
Your facility, and that's another one about Texas, man. Their facility, they have the Texas network.
They have the Longhorn Network, which is one of the biggest networks by itself.
It's crazy.
And
All right.
now it's merging with the SEC. It's getting even bigger fucking crazy.
So let's get into next week's picks. Let's go down the line. I know that we've already made them prior to the show, so let's get them in here and take a look. There's only 1 or 2 games to even really take seriously.
FSU at Louisville. Everybody took FSU, even though Louisville, this is a trap game. I don't think FSU is going to skate like they do, but that's fine.
I don't think it's a trap game. I think FSU is starting to get their shit together. and I think they've had 2 really solid wins in a row, and they are building as a squad, and their head coach, they've clearly got faith in him. And the fact that they've got 3 great running backs down there, they're going to wear Louisville's ass out. By the time the third and fourth quarter comes around, those D linemen are going to be sucking down Gatorade and air like it's nobody's business.
Well, this is what, Norvell's 3rd year as coach?
I think, yeah.
So you're starting to see his guys.
Yeah, I mean, you could spell Norvell with less L's right now, but at the end of the day,
Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not sold on Mike Norvell. I don't think we're ever going to get to, like, that pinnacle, like, top days like we used to. Not with this guy.
Give me
It's not gonna
Dion.
happen.
Give me Dion.
You know what? The more and more I start to see him at Jackson State,
I don't
Let's
know.
go!
Dion said he
More
wants to stay.
and
He wants
more.
to stay HBCU. I don't think you see Dion leave there.
Dion gets an offer from FSU. He's gone tomorrow.
I think Dion
Book
already
that.
had
I can see it.
offers
Book
before
that. Not from FSU. I'm
I
telling
think
you.
It's I think it's still a hype thing, man.
Yeah.
and that's kind of what would take.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't be an excellent top tier like defensive coordinator. Obviously one of the best DB coaches ever if he wanted to be, but all around, I don't see Dion running an offense worthy of a tier 1 college football team.
Give me Dion.
I don't. His offense
You just
can't be
want it
worse
for
than
the
Mike
hype.
Norvell's.
Oh, my God.
You know
You're
what I
sitting
mean?
over there with your Joker paint on being the agent of chaos. You just want to see the show.
Yeah, that's just like saying, "Oh, Emmett Smith is going to be the head coach of Florida."
Never going to happen.
Doesn't mean that it's going to be useful.
But Dion's actually building Jackson State correctly. You can't deny he's not getting results.
He's getting players
doing all
because
right.
of his name
Exactly.
Because of his name.
at a
Exactly.
very small HBCU school.
You're
Exactly.
telling me
Sorry,
if he
but-
goes to FSU, he's not going to get players just because of his name?
Of course he will, and because FSU is a bigger school than Jackson State. But people are going to
here's the
HBCU
thing.
because there's a HBCU resurgence, and on top of that, you're going to go play for Neon Dion.
And let's
Sorry,
go ahead
that's
and
just
say
gonna
this
have a
too,
little
that
more
the
weight to it.
players he's swinging and attracting to that school, all that top talent, they're all corners and DBs.
Yeah.
That's who's going to that school. So you go ahead and look at a football team, and I'll tell you what, you can have lackluster corners and DBs when you have D linemen and linebackers that are eating. But at the end of the day, corners and safeties don't win the game. So when you look at who's building that team and how he's building it, sure, he's going to get great players that want to play with Neon Dion there for the name. But when it comes down to guys like you mean to tell me that if he goes to FSU, and I'll give him 10 years and I'll give him 2 5-star recruits a year, you think he's ever going to walk into Athens and walk out with a W against Kirby Smart? I don't think so. Not a chance.
I do.
Yeah.
If you give him 2 5-star recruits every year, fuck yeah, he will.
There's plenty of teams that get that now and don't do shit with it.
Yeah, I'm not really high up on that 5-star, 4-star. 'cause
It means
I've seen-
nothing.
either, yeah.
You've seen
It does mean
no-star
nothing.
recruits
Yeah.
that are better than some of these guys that were, this is a top 50 player for that position
Yeah.
in coming out of high
Cooper
school.
Cup is one of those guys.
I'll give you an example,
Yeah.
too, on the Bama squad
I was
right
gonna
now.
say, Alabama's a perfect example of that.
Malachi Moore shows up as a freshman. He's a 3-star recruit. He shows up. He's starting day 1 off of effort and going and showing up and learning the offense. It doesn't matter. These 5-star guys show up and they see that 5 stars and they want everybody to give them all the clout in the world. It just doesn't work.
and
for
if
Just
them.
they
because
don't
you
work-
dominated in high school doesn't mean you're shit
Yeah.
in college. You still got to
Exactly.
show up and earn it.
Exactly. Let's get on with the picks.
Georgia, South Carolina. We all
Easy.
had Georgia,
Easy.
UConn, Michigan, Oklahoma, Nebraska. I'm going to take Nebraska because I think those kids are fire. They want to win, and this is a big game for them at home. They're not as bad as people think that they are. A lot of one-possession losses. I think maybe with a better game plan, they might be able to stick it. I'll take Nebraska. I'm the
Nebraska's
only
in
idiot
the
that
same
took Nebraska.
category as Wisconsin.
Did any of those one loss or one possession losses come from a ranked team?
Oh, well, if we go back to last year, probably. But as of this year,
No.
no.
We're talking right now.
No, I think it was Northwestern and Georgia Southern.
Give me Oklahoma, baby.
Yeah, it was. I'm the only guy who stepped out on the ledge. Youngstown State, Kentucky. Everybody took Kentucky. Texas State, Baylor, BYU, Oregon. Everybody took BYU, but this is a top 25 matchup, 12 versus 25.
I think Oregon drops out, and I think the pure reason they do is because BYU has been together so long. They've been playing valid opponents and winning in tough games.
And that defense is really good.
And Bo Nix is a person who plays for Oregon. What are you thinking? He left a superior team to go to an inferior team and has been doing exactly what we thought. Bo Nix has officially exposed himself leaving Auburn to go to Oregon. I don't understand that move at all.
Did he leave Oregon or did they tell him to kick rocks?
I don't think they told him to kick rocks. I think they said, yo, this kid behind you is legitimate. That kid is dangerous at quarterback. We're going to play him. And Bo's like, fine. I don't care if my dad came here. I'm going to Oregon.
That's
Well, they
pretty much
legally
what
changed
happened.
his name to Bo Picks.
Oh, that's good. I like it. The next game.
He's about to be.
Yo, speaking of, like, when you think Oregon, Bo Nix isn't the quarterback that comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
Not a mobile guy,
No, not at all.
Not a speed.
I'm going to say, honestly, when I think of Oregon, the last thing I remember is Mariota. And that's the reason that they're even kind of relevant now.
Justin Herbert? Justin Herbert? Anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone?
That
Justin
quarterback from BC last year wasn't
That
bad
one guy?
either.
Yeah, he's kind of good.
I know
okay.
a lot of people slept on him out of college, and they're
For
regretting
sure.
it. They're
Me, myself
regretting it.
included.
I did not.
Won a
I did not.
championship, though?
And I judged him off of the Oregon moniker.
too.
And then he showed up
I
in the
did
pros,
too.
and I was like, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I did
You
too.
win.
And then
Yeah,
his
but-
rookie year, I was like, wow, I was wrong.
But the problem with Oregon is just like Notre Dame. Their lines can't compete with these corn-fed guys in
Yeah.
the Big Ten and
No,
these
right,
SEC giants in Alabama and Georgia. That's why they can't do it, because their lines just get pushed back.
Absolutely right.
What? Is this guy literally making the point that we've tried to make to him for forever?
Next game,
Talking about the SEC and why those other crap teams don't belong?
Ole Miss versus Georgia Tech. Everybody took Ole Miss. Next game, big game, the game of the week.
I
State,
don't
Auburn.
disagree. I think this is one of the games of the week, for sure. This is a really, really good game.
In
100%.
Auburn.
In Jordan-Hare Stadium. What time is that game?
I'll find out right
Because,
now.
God damn it, if it's afternoon,
I don't
I think
care
it's
what
at 3.
time it is.
if that sky's getting dark when y'all are walking into Jordan-Hare, boy.
War Eagle.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Auburn doesn't play when you are coming to their house
3:30.
as a ranked team. 3:30, okay, yeah, it's a day game, but it doesn't matter. I think Auburn's defense is way too much for y'all to handle.
Our
wonder if
defense
Cam
is
Newton
way
still
too
has
much for
some
them to handle.
eligibility.
We have some of the best corners in the game. We have some of the best defensive linemen in and out that get drafted every year. We are Penn State, and
You
we're
know-
going to win by double digits too. That guy's going to get fired after this game.
You know
Double
who
going to
had,
get fired after this.
you know
game.
who had great corners? Cincinnati.
Yeah, they did.
And
They had
guess
all
who-
that salsa
Guess
over
who?
there, bro.
Guess who Cincinnati played in the playoffs?
Are you comparing Auburn to Bama or Georgia?
Yeah,
Get the fuck outta
because we play them every year. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bama ran the ball down their throats, up and down the field, and ran the clock. I think they're not going to run. They're not going to absolutely destroy Penn State. I don't think so. You guys are a great team. You're clearly ranked. You're in the game. You're ready to play. I think this is a big test, and I think without Bo Nix, now if they had Bo Nix, we might be having a different conversation. But old boy that plays behind him, he is a
He's
legitimate.
indecisive and throws a lot of picks. We're getting a pick 6.
Okay, it's
Book
fun.
it.
It's fun
Book
to pretend.
it. First book it of the year.
Hey,
Oh, so he booked it? Yeah, we're definitely right.
Yep.
Penn State by double digits. Book it.
okay. I hope you didn't book it with your wallet. He already did.
How much you going to lose?
That look.
Louisiana Monroe at Alabama.
He was so happy to call his bookie. Be like, "What's the spread on Penn State, baby?
was
Give
6.
it to me." What is the spread? Who's the favorite?
It was 5.5. Penn State's minus 5.5 right now,
okay.
and that's
Hey,
not much. I don't give a shit.
That's great.
No, it's 3. I'm sorry, it's 3.
Oh,
It's
already
minus
so
3.
wait
It's
a
minus
minute.
3. It's minus
Wait
3.
a minute. Number 22 going against unranked Auburn,
Minus
because everybody
3.
likes to say that.
Because of that stupid SEC stigmata that the SEC, they're so big, they're shit, they're
want me to-
trash, and we're going to show
Hold
you
on.
this.
Do you
week.
want me to pull up the
rewind it?
national
The part when we were
championship?
talking about Oregon and he was talking about the big.
I said
corn-fed
Georgia
boys
and Nebraska
beforehand.
I mean,
no, that's just
Georgia
the
and
SEC
Alabama,
in
excuse me.
general.
Get out of here, you guys are crazy. We're going to win
Florida
double
has-
digits.
Hey, and
Florida
just so
has
you-
solid offensive and defensive lines, too. So,
Hey, where's
and where do we play? Oh.
where's
the SEC.
Auburn at?
Let me go ahead and pull this up.
Isn't
for
that a
you.
school in Alabama?
Let's go back to
Oh,
2010.
Jesus Christ, man!
Let's
I can't.
count from 2010. So we're counting to 12. Put your fingers up. How many teams came from the SEC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 10.
Okay,
And
And you
where
mean
those-
to tell me that the SEC is garbage?
Hold on.
I
where
didn't
those
say
other
the
ones come
SEC. I
from?
said Auburn is trash.
Okay. All right.
Where
Let's
the
go.
other ones come from?
Let's move on. Oh, they came from Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, and one from LSU. Could Mr. Joe Burrow. Where'd the other ones come from?
No, yeah, the other ones that
Ohio
weren't from
State.
the SEC.
Ohio State.
Oh,
Ohio State, we're going to beat them this year too.
the Big Ten.
We're going to the
Wait,
playoffs
wait,
this
wait,
year.
wait.
We're going to beat Ohio
And
State.
he's
sorry.
forgetting
We're going to
the
beat Ohio
ACC
State
as well,
and Michigan this
but,
year.
yeah.
Michigan State, we might lose to, but we're going to beat Ohio State and
think-
Michigan.
Actually, no. I got to take that back. Ohio State's got 1. They are in 3rd place to the ACC. Clemson has got 2 in that time.
And before the college football, we had
Actually, Florida State is in there too. They got 3.
Why are we talking about ancient
you.
history?
Ancient history.
Why are we talking about
ancient
ancient
history? Is trying to find fucking
State?
Penn State on this list.
All I'm telling you is it's a new leaf. I think James Franklin.
I don't know if
Franklin
my
might actually
I
have
don't know
their
if my
shit
web
together.
I don't know if my
know-
internet can support me scrolling that long.
You know, this guy sounds like the equivalent of a Cowboys fan.
Don't you ever compare me to
This is
those
our
pieces
year.
of shit.
That's
We're
strong.
doing it.
That's
Dude.
strong.
Dude, it's so true though.
Are you kidding me?
That is strong.
You guys are out of your
He
mind.
is a Cowboys
His-
fan.
I am what?
His
It's
We Are
Cowboys.
Penn State is the equivalent of We Dem Boys.
What are you
You're
talking
right.
about?
And
America's team.
This is our year.
We Dem
Wow.
boys. Ugh.
Oh my God.
Louisiana Monroe at Bama. We all took Bama. I'm off of this goddamn train after this guy comparing me to a freaking cowboy. You know what? I might just leave right now. What is this guy talking about?
Oh no, don't go.
We all took Bama. Liberty at Wake Forest. We all took Wake. Malik isn't coming out of the tunnel. Toledo at
Yeah.
Ohio State. Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I don't even know where that is. Against Oklahoma State. We all took Oklahoma State. Tennessee at Akron. The Zips got no chance. Arkansas versus Most. I don't even know what school that. Get this thing away from me.
Oh, love it.
You want that?
Texas Tech at NC State. I think it could be a closer game, but we all took NC State.
I think so too. I think it could be a close game, but NC State at home. Give me them.
Yeah.
Michigan State at Washington. Everybody took Michigan State. USF at Florida. I feel bad for USF. They're about to get the boot stomped to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know it's bad when even I kind of go for him.
Pittsburgh at Western Michigan. We all took Pittsburgh. Louisiana Tech, Clemson. We all took Clemson. Utsa. It's not the same Utsa as last year. Texas, all across the board.
Card is definitely not to be slept on. I mean, it's bad that Ewers is gone, but that backup quarterback is legit, and they still have Bijan Robinson.
Who is a stud. Miami at Texas A&M.
This is contention, man. This is a game that's in contention
Yeah,
for
get
sure.
that damn fucking helmet away from me.
Sorry, baby. I'll put your boy here.
I thought you were.
the hell's that?
I thought you were a Cowboys fan.
Get the fucking away
That's
from
your
me.
boy Dion.
Oh, is that
Prime
Prime? Oh, I don't mind Prime, although those are ugly ass colors.
Here, he just needs a helmet.
There it goes.
Yeah, because he got a big ass head too, right?
All right, let's finish it up.
Miami, Texas A&M. I'm the only one who took Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is going to take care of business. Miami's getting better, but they're not there yet.
They're getting better, and this is. I feel like Texas A&M should be the favorite for this game because they're going to want to beat the crap out of Miami. But I think Miami's been trying to chase that relevance for so long that I think they can do something here,
This would be a huge swing game for Miami's program
big time.
for beating Texas A&M while they're a little wounded.
Yeah.
And I think this is where they're going to try to show out. And I think that's why we're going to see Miami.
But Jimbo's going to ream these boys. I think Miami, if they don't lose last week to App State, maybe, but Texas A&M is going in to hurt somebody now, I think.
Jimbo led those boys to lose to App State.
I agree.
I'm going to say that.
I agree.
So
And Jimbo does not strike me as that coach. He doesn't strike me as the guy who's going to go in there and ream them out. Like everybody knows when Saban and the boys go into the locker room and they're down or they're causing penalties, those dudes walk out with limps, man. It's rough. But I don't get that from him. Like Harbaugh, I got that from Harbaugh. For sure. I think he's that kind of coach. And there's like Gundy, he's another one I think would rip him a new one, but I don't know, dude. I think Miami has a better chance than not.
San Diego State, Utah, we all took Utah. And then Fresno at USC. I took Fresno State because I just don't like Lincoln Riley, and I think he needs to lose a game.
I don't like him either. I just think there's too much talent in Southern Cal right now for them to take a loss.
Last question for Camilo. So right now, top 4 teams that make the playoffs right now. Way too early. I'm not going to hold you to it, but as far as what you've seen so far, who's going to be in the college playoff?
So Alabama and Georgia, I think for sure. And then as far as the other teams, man, that's kind of a throw to literally one of maybe 10 different teams.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys out there that could make it.
Who's going to win the Big Ten? Let's just go that way.
Who cares?
Well, I mean, they would be there. They would be there. The Big Ten is
That
going
is
to be
the
there.
correct answer.
That is the correct answer, but the Big Ten will be represented.
Yeah, by Ohio State, more than likely.
Yeah, more than likely.
So Ohio State.
I don't know. I think this year, if Ohio State keeps playing the way they're playing, if Michigan can get on a roll after having taken their house last year, was it in the big house last year, or was it in Ann Arbor?
I think it was in.
They're in Ann Arbor.
They were in
They're
Ann Arbor.
in Ann Arbor this year?
But you have to consider Harbaugh's record against Ohio State.
Exactly.
Terrible.
That's what I'm gonna
It's
say.
terrible.
And so I'm sorry, I just don't see Michigan getting past it, which if they did, they would be in contention for one of those 4 spots.
Oh, just to go and get blown
Just
out
by
by
be-
Georgia again.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in the shoe. That's going to be Ohio State. So look at them 3. Who's the dark horse? Who do you think sees that 4th spot? I'm going to go with BYU because they're not going to see any roadblocks ahead of them. Who's going to get in front of them?
They're like Notre Dame. They're not really going to play a whole lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice for that reason.
Is there a possibility that one of those dark horse SEC teams like Arkansas, Tennessee, or Kentucky get that 4?
Kentucky, I could see out of any of those mentioned.
I don't think so because I think they do take a loss and then they're going to have to play somebody in a championship. And if one of those lesser teams, and if they don't play the championship, then they're not going to have the clout to get into the top 4. And then you're going to have somebody like BYU who plays a weak-ass championship, and they're going to be out there, we are champions of our conference. We deserve to get in there, and they will. And because the college football committee lately has been like, we want to give everybody a shot to get in and a shot to compete.
Well, they need to expand. The 4 teams is too small for as many colleges as that.
I agree.
We talked about that last week. Do you like 12?
I do like 12. I think that's a
Wow,
much better
that's
fit.
way too many.
But
This is why I'm
I
looking
think what
at
they need to do is
Arkansas and
split the
Tennessee at 10 and 15 right now. As much as I think they're on the come up, there's no way they get there unless they beat a Georgia or a Alabama.
Right.
They don't
I can
get
tell
there.
you who's going to get there. Florida State, we're undefeated. Let's go.
Oh, I want to bet $100 on this.
Fuck no, I wouldn't bet you a nickel.
I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting college football season, and who knows
It's
if
just getting
Bama
started,
doesn't drop
baby.
one because they've got a lot of tough games on the schedule as well. So we'll see it. I think game of the week, the game that will be the first one talked about next week on this show, will be Auburn and Penn State.
You're goddamn
Yeah.
right. It will be
You
the
are
first game.
making me circle that game on my calendar.
It's a big game.
I will make sure there were 2 TVs in my living room if I have to.
I'm going to be out
It's
of
normally a
town,
game
but
I
I'm
would
going to
not
make
watch.
sure that I watch this game.
Have a
Yeah,
TV on.
download the app on your phone. You'll be good.
All right, we'll do.
Normally, this is a game I would not care about, but now I am. absolutely watching
We're
this game.
invested.
Does anybody want to bet $1 with me?
Man,
Are you guys double or nothing on $1 right now?
I'm dollaring all day.
Well, we got the LSU one.
Yeah. So, oh boy,
Or-
somebody's got to bring me
Let's
a
go.
$2 bill.
That's
there
fine.
it is. There
But we have
is.
to wait till the end of the year because LSU Florida is
I'm drawing a nice, pretty eagle on it.
not until like.
And I'm
going to
write War Eagle underneath it. And I'm going to make you
Oh,
sign it.
right, War Eagle all you want. Last year we beat them and beat them this year too.
Hold on, didn't they barely beat him last year? Like,
With-
I mean, like,
with Bo Nix.
by a fucking, the hair on a
I think it was 7 points, but
They
that's
beat
fine.
them on a
Barely
final
is
drive.
touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
No, but they did win by a touchdown.
Yeah.
But that's
Extra mile.
one drive.
But, yeah.
So we'll see.
Auburn is in Iowa. We'll be fine.
And you're also not in Happy Valley at night during a whiteout, which you so eloquently like to point out.
I want to go to a whiteout game so freaking bad.
You should.
We should go.
Let's
we should
go.
take this fucking. We should
I
take
would
the show on the road.
love to go see that. There are certain stadiums
Whoa,
in this country
yeah, no.
that I need to see some
should
of
do
those
that. We
marquee
should freaking
games.
do
Well,
that.
you're safe because you're over the age of 10.
I was going to say, I don't want to go there because I don't want to get my private parts
wow,
touched.
that's true.
I don't want to get touched in my no square.
Even
You're
if
too
I
old,
wear
bro.
my,
You're good.
even if
You're
I
too
wear
old,
my
yeah.
my super short overalls.
Nope.
I want to go to Auburn, Bama,
with a lollipop in
and
your
I
mouth.
want to go to a Penn State whiteout game
Oh, you talking about the,
and a Red River rivalry game.
I would love to go to a Florida State game.
We should do that.
What you should go to is a Florida-Georgia game.
That's
Florida-Georgia
honestly
Classic.
the
world's largest outdoor
cocktail
cocktail party.
yeah, that's what I want to go
I would
to.
have to
Jacksonville?
rub shoulders with Georgia fans.
I can't do
Yeah.
that either.
You're asking a lot.
Man, it's actually it's a neutral site every year. It's a fun.
You know
fun
why it's a
game.
neutral site every year?
Because we would absolutely burn their shit down if we went there and won.
And vice
or
versa.
lost.
Yeah,
Vice
right.
versa.
'Cause, I mean, you couldn't contain.
That's why they
those
started
teams.
going neutral sites because there are too many fights, too many, basically
I'm
It's also
surprised
dead
riots.
smack in the middle
I'm s-
between Athens and Gainesville. So I mean, there's that too. But
I'm even surprised that Florida and Florida State still playing the same.
Yo, next year we
respective
should go
houses,
on the
too.
road and go to a game.
I'm down. All
Or
right,
maybe
boys.
we go to Florida State, Florida, and we watch Florida put the boots to Florida State.
Yeah, I'll be the guy with the big sign that says "Fuck them boys."
You won't be alone.
Yeah, them Cowboys.
you'll
talking
fold
about
that sign
yourself?
up on the way home, though.
I'm not a goddamn.
Oh no,
way
I
to the
won't.
car.
No, I won't. I will
So
stand tall,
listen,
bro.
Nello, nobody's saying that you're a Cowboys fan. We're just saying there are some scary similarities between the both
solid
of you.
comparison.
I don't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
What was that guy on Facebook? Was it Magruder or whatever?
Yeah.
I can see Nello making those videos all day long.
Yeah.
Well, Penn State, if it wasn't for this,
Scooter Magruder.
Scooter Magruder, yeah. That's him. He's the Penn State version of Scooter Magruder.
Wow.
Wow. I hate this guy.
A lot of things coming out about you today.
We
You
are
don't
Penn
even know
State.
yourself.
So what do you
We
think?
are Penn State.
So what do you think? Do you need a let's see. You want a Dion? You want a throwback? You want a Michael Irvin or
Is this a bet?
No, I'm asking you.
On what?
Being such a Cowboys fan.
I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I don't ever want. This is disgusting. I'm over this.
Just say we them boys.
Never.
Let's get him in 88 so he can be
We are
There you
Penn
go.
State.
Hey, let him be a part of the 88 club.
So Jimmy Johnson.
eating Chipotle.
What do you think?
You know?
Come on, Nello.
We are Penn State.